First things first. I love Chainsaw Man. The pacing, the style, the gratuitous gore, the way they subvert battle anime expectations, the absolute bops of unique ending theme. The way they got my favorite 3 genders, blonde idiot, pinkish haired punchy girl, cool aloof blue haired guy, then my 3 favorite genders. I remember when I accidentally stumbled upon the show scrolling Netflix and thought, wait, even the localization is peak. Denji says low key, and characters straight up ask to fuck. They just like me for real. Oh, that meme is actually from Chainsaw Man. Next to Dandadan, Chainsaw Man quickly became my most anticipated anime of the last few years. I was hooked, it slapped.
Nice job, team.
And when I found out there was a movie coming out after just 1 season, I slammed that reminder into my calendar, and then quickly forgot that the movie had been out for over a month before I'd actually seen it. I was busy with other things. But then, when the time had come, I was still hooked. I dragged myself and my partner at 10 a.m. to an entirely empty theater so janky that the image didn't even fit the entire screen, and I watched the culmination of all the hype for what I had heard was the movie to rival Demon Slayer. One of the most incredible anime movies to ever hit theaters. And I didn't know what to say. It was good. Exactly how the series had been. The gore was still there, the incredible style, and at least 2 of the genders were there with power sidelined, likely to help with the tone. It's not fair! And yet I felt down and left out as internet nerds, much more plugged in than I was, told me how much of a masterpiece this was. But I'm gonna be honest, I like masterpieces too. I want to see the masterpiece. Where's the masterpiece? Was the masterpiece in the room with us? Was I overhyped going into the theater? Did I expect too much from this stellar anime? And don't get me wrong, the movie was great, a perfectly acceptable mirror of everything the series was exactly. But I couldn't help but think that that was the problem. It was a mirror. It added nothing. And what it did have, the one selling point that wasn't in the series, I realized, I had already seen done much better before. Hear me out. I'm gonna get my ass kicked with this one. Before we get started, I want to say thank you so much to my subscribers and those who like and comment on every video. I'm still a very small YouTube channel, so all of this helps. Please continue doing what you do, and you're going to help so much. At the cost of nothing to you. It costs you nothing. It's free! Anyway, let's jump into it. So, first thing I did was I went back to the manga to see if I'd missed something. But I hadn't. Reze arc was a perfect shot-for-shot recreation of the manga in a way I'd never seen before. I mean, shots are identical. Their order the same with barely any deviation. Where Demon Slayer turns one panel into an entire series of episodes, Chainsaw Man stays almost perfectly in lockstep, and has been for the whole series anime. For those who haven't seen this anime, I have no idea why you clicked this video. Maybe you're a masochist, maybe you're a sick fuck. I'm about to spoil everything up to and included the Chainsaw Man movie, so hang on in there. But first, we start with who this manic pixie dream girl is, Reze. See, for the Reze arc, we follow the newest of sex-obsessed Denji's romantic interests in the cafe waitress, Reze, who apparently is the whole inspiration for Zooey Deschanel's whole personality. Manic Pixie Dream Girl couldn't be more apt, as right off the bat she comes across helplessly ditzy and enthused by your boy. She's fearlessly optimistic, cute, she's emotion forward in all the ways psychopath Miss Makima is not. She even uses the "take my hand and I'll show you the world" line that every Manic Pixie Dream Girl has practiced like a goddamn weapon. It's everything that Denji has ever wanted, and the affection has an equal that he's never been awarded. If you watch any advertisement at all for this movie, you know that's not to last, as every single trailer really bluntly drops that reveal almost immediately, so spoilers everywhere. Somehow the sweet alluring Reze is actually sweet, somehow more alluring Bomb Devil instead. You sick fucks.
Why do I want her to step on me?
And the Bomb Devil kicks ass! She's vicious, playful, murders just so many people during the course of the movie, and as we can guess, she's also after Denji's chainsaw heart because redacted. And check this shit out. The next half of the movie is a roller coaster of action. You get Aki being a general badass as usual, bombs exploding around the cityscape, Violence Devil unironically being the greatest twist in the movie as he just decides not to fight. He's the GOAT! Beam and Denji being a fucking Napoleon painting. Kobani's here. All crescendos as Reze and Denji, both victims of abuse and misunderstanding, coming to a stalemate and both deciding to go their own ways. before Reze shows a glimpse of having grown in her humanity and dying as a tragic character. So, why didn't this work for me? Simple. Reze was not well written. Allow me to ground the argument.
On the next all-new episode of Teen Titans, Terra, headstrong and headed in the wrong direction.
Back in 2004, when Teen Titans introduced Terra to the world, it shook up the paradigm of the show. Not only was it the first time a recurring character would share the season arc with the cast, but many kids really connected to Beast Boy as their parallel on the show.
Oh no, I'm like the bomb.
In my friend groups, I was either Beast Boy or Odd from Code Lyoko. My brother likes animals, so what? Cheetahs are sick, sue me.
Yeah.
We saw ourselves in BB's shoes. We went through the excitement with him of caring for Terra, and eventually the tragedy of being betrayed by her countless times before her eventual heroic sacrifice. And so, when I was sat in that theater and witnessed the rise and fall of the Manic Pixie Dream Girl, I thought, no, this is the exact same character. Now, the character type of the Manic Pixie love interest who's slowly revealed to be evil and then dies isn't entirely unique, especially if they never change their mind. Think Angel from Lilo & Stitch, Lila from Dexter to an extent, Haruko from FLCL, etc, etc. They even have named tropes for their arc beats, with the main three we're focusing on being the Broken Bird, the Stepford Smiler, and I Will Wait For You. Shout out to tvtropes.com, goated site.
Yeah.
Basically, here we have two characters abused since childhood as forced weapons, who form a common connection with the protagonist also forced into that same situation, who finds in them a genuine respect that none of their contemporaries grant them. These two characters fall in love in a Ferris wheel montage and bring us along for a ride before revealing their dark past and attacking as they were raised to do. In the end, neither survive. Not really. But the ever-moral protagonist will always wait for them to change. But the devil's in the details of just how they were different. When Terra is introduced after being taken by Slade, we watch her genuinely fall for Beast Boy.
Do you trust me?
We watch her begin to blur the line between what her fake identity is and what her real emotions are in what is called becoming the mask. For Reze though, we no doubt get the sense that this is what Fujimoto was attempting to do. Hell, we're told in a way that completely breaks the show don't tell me. Both that she could have killed Denji outright, and later that she actually did have feelings for him. But why would we believe anything she says? Especially when the movie makes one flaw that Teen Titans doesn't, besides getting cancelled. If a character becomes the mask, we as an audience must have a look beneath the mask. See, a common trick about shonen protagonists is that it isn't always the protagonist's job to have an arc. Instead, they opt to slowly change the world and characters around them based on their perfect ideology that doesn't change. Goku is always sure that it's good to get stronger. Naruto's always sure that determination and justice will win out. Denji is always sure that he wants companionship. Instead, the ones who are here to gain an arc are the characters who surround them. Except for Miss Makimaki, something's clearly off there still. And there can be an argument that Denji actually does have an arc throughout the movie of realizing he has a heart, but ask yourself this. Does he really go through ideological trials in the movie where this idea is put into stress? He believes he doesn't, then learns he does, and that's the rest of the movie. There's no point in the movie where the audience is forced to sit with his heart struggle and be conflicted between the two sides, and that's fine. Denji just isn't the vehicle for the arc in this movie.
You are not him. You are not him.
But here being Reze herself, going from a bloodthirsty assassin to someone who gets a lesson about what she's doing and how wrong her mask is. But to bring audiences along for the ride, the arc that this whole movie is actually about, we must be afforded one thing: glimpses of their uncertainty, of their struggle to contain the truth peeking through the charade. The masked character must be surprised in a way that drops their control.
I don't believe it. They actually trust me.
This is Terra not only wavering from her mission, but being doubtful and ineffective at it. We see it in her eyes. We see it in her attitude. Maybe Slade's way isn't the right way. But for Reze, these moments are few, if not non-existent entirely. But is that true for the manga? On the page, Reze is given visible eye takes that show beneath the mask and changes in sincerity that give little tells towards all the conflict inside of her, whereas in the movie, these are removed entirely, instead for Reze to smile through the entire charade and never lose control. In the manga, she drops the act and is visibly worried and genuine as she tries to explain that Denji is being taken advantage of. She's genuinely happy about going to the festival with Denji instead of insincere for the game. In the movie, Reze keeps the game up the entire time, and she's never surprised by what she's learning because she doesn't get to learn until the very end. Okay, hell, Reze even says full-faced that every single emotion and every single blush was a fake the entire time, with no strain from her whatsoever. Imagine how much stronger this beat could have landed if that had been a lie that she very clearly has to tell herself. That every blush and every smile was embarrassingly, frustratingly real. Instead, the show explicitly tells us that no, she simply really is that good of a manipulator. I mean, this is a girl who uses Pochita's death as a lure to bring Denji in at the very beginning. What is that? Couple this lack of breaking with the point that even though I'd never seen a single trailer or advertisement for the movie, Reze is so clearly the manipulative bad guy from like the first second she's on screen. Me and my partner were like cracking jokes about her the second on because she's like over emoting and she's doing like this way too sweet routine that's like so see-through.
You mean this serial killer face?
Ah, yes, stop it.
And you get a character whose mask is so obvious and unchallenged that a reveal lands as empty as her third act fight. A fight that should have been a metaphor for the ideological turmoil between if they are really a villain or if their mask has taken over.
Look at yourself, Tara! Is this really what you want to be?
In narratives like this, the exact point of having a secondary villain is so that your main villain has someone to play off of, to show the audience they are wavering. In Teen Titans, it's Slade pointing out how Tara has changed from her path. In Star Wars, it's Palpatine to Vader. Give us a bad guy who has not yet strayed and admonishes the protagonist villain for how much they have. What could have been a very meaningful conversation on the rooftop between Typhoon and Reze, where Typhoon admonishes Reze for not doing what she does best, could have set us up for wondering what's really going on in her head. Unfortunately for us instead, Reze shuts them up and has no one to play off of for the rest of the movie. Her emotional arc falls flat because we never get a chance to see her be real with anyone whatsoever. Whether she's wearing a mask to Denji or Stepford smiling during the fight. Instead, when she doesn't kill Denji right away, you might get the sense that she's just playing with a toy instead of learning something at all. At the end of the movie, I'll be honest, I had my biggest question of all. Why did Reze stop fighting Denji? Washed up on the beach, both being theoretically inexhaustible fighters, given enough blood. Last I checked, she had the determination to level a city to get to him. And like, she's still in the upper hand. Where there should have been a beat, albeit cheesily, of his rhetoric finally getting to her, what we call a grow or die moment, where she's forced against a wall to admit that this killer isn't her, that there's more to her. There's nothing but a brief moment underwater. And I think the details lie in the translation of her parting words. In the manga, as she walks away, Reze comments that she spent too much time fighting Denji, implying that she only stopped because she was exhausted. I honestly believe the movie realized that this wasn't a meaningful enough line, so they performed a small tweak. Instead, in the movie, it says, "I took too long to fight you," implying she had given him far too much time to influence her before she made her strike. In the end, Reze didn't land for me like Tara did. Didn't land as other characters of her type did in the past. She didn't quite feel like a sympathetic villain because the only chance we had to sympathize with her was at her end. Denji is the exact same character throughout, which again is fine because he's not the vehicle for the arc in this. We learn nothing new about Makima, barring the Country Mouse story showing how even she sees herself as a higher being. And Beam the Goat gets a little development as knowing more than he should about the Gun Devil. The only characters who really get any development at all in the movie are Aki and the Angel Devil, who share a really great moment as Aki breaks down at the thought of someone else dying in front of him again, and the Angel Devil accepts being a moral agent. I said it at the top, and I'll say it again before I get my ass kicked. I love Chainsaw Man. It's a story that gets to the heart of abuse and desperation for affection in a way that's exhilarating and fun. And the adaptation of such a nuance is difficult, especially when trying to weigh exact adherence to the source material with making a feature film and the necessary pacing that comes with that, especially when you don't have the hours and hours that a television series affords you. After everything, the stories that Reze and many like her tell are stories that need to be told. Stories of hurt people hurting people, the paths that we choose to take, and the connections that remind us that we alone have the ability to stop the cycles put upon us.
You were the best friend I ever had.
And the belief that when we do, a better future will always be waiting for us. Just change your mind before you become a psychopath. Jesus Christ.